My computer. All right, guys. So, oops, somebody else has come in. Let's start things out with some wins. I want to hear a win from everybody. Well, not from everybody, from a few people at least. Let's hear a couple of wins. Who's got some?
I got a little story.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. Um, well, I had a garage sale a couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
and we all know how you hate putting on a garage sale. It's a lot of work. I procrastinated a lot, and the closer it got, the madder I got. And it was at my daughter's house, so we had to haul all the tables over to her place. Um, we set up this ladder and a bar, to hang her clothes on. By the time I got over there with my stuff, there was no room for my stuff. So of course, I'm getting madder and madder until my husband's like, "Well, let me go to my brother's house," and he got these big sawhorses and he set up his 11-foot, 12-foot ladder, which gave us a lot more space. So she had one side of the ladder, I had the other side, and I had 132 tops. 132 tops. It was a 3-day garage sale. So as we started off on the first day, I only sold maybe 20 tops. And then the next day in the morning I sold maybe another 10 or 10 to 8 tops. And then this guy pulls up with his wife, and she's handicapped and she was in the car. Well, I had spilled something on my shirt, so I had to go pull one of the shirts off of the rack, and put it on, and so it's like drowning on me. So I walked over to her and showed her, this is a 1X and how big it was. And so she was across the street and he was lifting tops up, and then she was going thumbs up or thumbs down. And I go to him, I go, "We'll just pull the table over, and why don't you just pull your car up and let her look?" So he did that. And then she got out. She was in a wheelchair. And so she rolled over there and she picked out about 10 tops. And I go, "I'll make a deal with you. Anything you want, I'll make a deal." I go, "I want to get rid of this stuff." And she says, "Oh, I've done enough damage." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So packed up their 10 tops or whatever, and then they left. An hour later, they come back. And she was in the car, and he gets out and he said, "She loved those tops. She wants more." He says, he said, "You'll make a deal with me." And I go, "Yeah, I'll make a deal." He says, "How about you give me all your 1X and 2X tops for $40?" So my daughter runs over there to the thing and she's pulling all the tops, counting them out. And she goes, "Mom, there's 72 tops here." And I'm like, I go, "How about $50 for 72 tops?" He walks over to his wife. She says, "Okay." So he comes back with this big laundry basket and he says, "Done deal." So we packed all of these tops into this laundry basket and hauled them away. And this gal that was shopping there goes, "Man, that was a good deal. I don't know if I would have done that. You don't have anything left for tomorrow." And I looked at her and I go, "Well, I don't have anything to take to the Goodwill tomorrow either."
So in other words, the moral of the story is you got rid of 100 tops
So
that
I
no
had 12
longer
tops.
fit you.
Yeah. Yep. I had 12 after they were gone. I had 12 tops left. 12.
You emptied your closet and made room for all the new clothes
Yes.
that you're
Yeah.
in. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I
And
love
let me
that.
tell you, women's clothes never sell. And then my daughter looks at me, "And you didn't want to have a garage sale?" I go, "Yeah, but I had to take off 3 days of vacation for $50."
But you got rid of a bunch of clothes that
Got
don't
rid of
fit you
them.
anymore. That's
Yeah. So
great.
it was good, and there was some kind of, there was some kind of downs. One lady was looking at some of my pants. I had 60 some pants. I ended up giving 43 to the Goodwill. But she picks up these pair of pants and goes, "Are these maternity?" And you're like, "Oh God, no, they're not."
But they're not yours anymore either, are
Well,
they? So the win here is you're
yes,
letting go
yes,
of a lot of clothes.
yes. it was interesting. So yeah, there was some ups and downs, and it was good. It ended
Sounds
up
like
being good. So
good. Sounds like a great way to empty your closet and make room
yes.
for all the new ones. So
But let me
congratulations.
tell you, that'll probably never happen again to find somebody to do that, to buy all your clothes like that.
But how does it feel to get rid of all those clothes?
It feels good. It does. It was a little shocking right at first because it was like, oh God, that's my safety net. Those were my safety net. Well, that safety net's gone.
That's the win.
Yep, that's the win.
That's the win. Awesome. Well
So,
done. I'm proud of you. Who else has got a win? Who else emptied their closet or went shopping in their closet? The back, the ooh la la section. Let me have one more win before we get rolling. This call is going to be about participation, so get ready, guys.
Well, okay. So on the subject of clothes, I mean, the Amazon truck just keeps showing up. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I have got jeans I'm not going to wear anymore. I can't. I just. And then they know exactly what I like, and they keep showing it to me. It's so bad, so bad. So yeah, the new clothes are coming.
The new
They're
clothes
in.
are coming. Are they fun?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the bathing suits.
Ooh, ooh la la.
That's for this weekend. Woo, we'll see. Yeah.
And that's a fun win too. I love that. Nothing more fun than feeling confident in new clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Love
I
that.
downsized the bathing suit too.
Ooh, what?
I said I downsized a bathing suit too.
Awesome. That's a good win. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see you, Tina. You were underneath me.
It's still a whole piece, but it's still a downside.
That's good. Love these wins. We got a lot of clothing wins. Summer is coming around. You guys are all getting ready to show off your skin. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to take one more win and then I'm going to hop into today's call.
I'll share a win.
All right, let me hear it, Jen.
Um, so, I'm in my reset week
Hmm.
and I shared something about this on like the group community, but these are probably different women or maybe they haven't seen it. So I'm going to share it here. So I have found that Gemini AI is like my best friend right now with like this whole journey, not only just like helping take the ingredients and break it into like something that's yummy, but converting like, oh, I have point this on the serving on this box, and like back in school like math was never my jam. So it's like can be complicated. So I've been using AI to really guide my whole thing. Like it's just really really been super helpful, especially when you're starting something so new and you're doing all the things. It can be overwhelming, and so to take that pressure off using a little bit of the AI has just been so much easier for me to be able to like not be overwhelmed about like that part. Instead I can focus more on like the lifestyle changes and getting used to smaller, more often meals and focusing on the things that like are really important. So that's my win.
Resourcing, delegating, even if it's to a
Yeah.
laptop. I love that.
Yeah.
Delegation is the key to relieving ourselves from stress. That's awesome. That's a great win. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, how many of you guys were on last week's call, last Wednesday's call with Nicole? Raise your hand if you were. Yeah, if
Part
you
of it.
part of it. All right. If you
Yeah.
were on the if you were not on the call, raise your hand if you at least watched the replay. Awesome.
Twice.
Twice. Awesome. I love that. Keep watching that darn thing. Okay, so if you haven't watched the replay yet, it was posted, guys, in the community. I think I reposted it in my community just this morning, and Nicole posted it right after the call. You can't miss it. So make sure that you do go watch it. But today I want to kind of follow up on that because Nicole dropped a lot on you guys last week. And while I'm not here to repeat anything, I want to know from a few of you guys what really kind of landed. What really hit you? So I want to take 2 to 3 shares. And I want you to just tell me a little bit about like what really landed, what what really hit you? And Patty, I'm probably going to start with you because you said you watched it twice. So I'm curious, like, and I want to hear from a couple of you guys. What was like the biggest takeaway? What did you find most interesting? What really, if anything, landed maybe the plane for you?
I think what landed for me both times was like rewiring my inner self,
Mm,
because I always have this mantra for years that, and I think I even posted it out there, that I just need to exercise more and eat better. And obviously that has not been working. So that I've been really focusing on the rewiring in my thought process. So that's really my big takeaway. It keeps kind of like even blowing up more the more I think about it. I mean, there's been a couple of times this week because I started the low carb, carb cycling, and I find my mind is getting a little bit more tricky this week than it was in the reset. So I'm really using that information. And there was a lot of information on that call. It was really great. But that's kind of what I walked away with. And that's really what's staying with me is the rewiring of my inner self, my thought process.
Can you expand on that? So, like, what have you been doing that to rewire your thought process, or what is it like about that? Is it changing the way that you look at things,
Yes.
the way that you
Yes. For
approach?
example, I can start any diet anytime and work out. I've always worked out, but I was always a kind of a 2 week kind of gal. I'd stay on it for 2 weeks and okay, no, I might a little fudge here, a little fudge there. And I haven't even started that process of fudging. And my husband, I cook totally different for him, but I mean, I've made him pizza. I've done all these things. I haven't even thought about having it. I mean, even if I think about having a piece of cheese or something when I'm cooking, I'm like, nope, think about why you want that. Why do you need it? And I kind of go back to I'm feeling my body now. I'm not just feeling that emotion. And I really didn't think I was an emotional eater, but I think I probably more was. Like if you Friday nights we go out and have cocktails at dinner and or this, it's kind of when you've always done it. So now I'm just rewiring my whole plan, and I'm sticking to this. I mean, I haven't deviated at all. But I don't, I really feel like for me is that I'm just talking to myself differently. Like, why do you want that? Why do you feel like you need that? Why did you even do that before? So, and it's a long process because you don't change, a 67-year-old lady overnight, that's for sure.
Yeah, you don't get
But,
that. No, I love
you
that
know,
though.
so, and I'm trying to turn it into more of a positive thing because I really am looking at the mantra of I'm refueling my body for the long term. This is not a short term thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before it's kind of, oh yeah, I can get this done in 2 weeks. I got this, but no, this is like, this is my life now. This is the journey I'm taking, and I'm doing it. I always tell myself in it to win it.
And
I
it's
mean, that's not kind of what I say. I was talking to my friend today, and I said, I'm in it to win it. I'm not deviating this time. I got to do this for my health and just for my overall life. So, I mean, if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I took away from her. But there was a lot more, but that's the one that really stick with me.
I love that. And I love what you said because you're kind of, feeding into some of the things that are really important. And you said something that's very important, how we talk to ourselves. You're talking
Hmm.
to yourself different. And that's really important, guys. It's a huge thing. Like talking to, if we tell ourselves that if we don't say nice things to ourselves, that's what we are going to continue to receive more of.
Hmm.
So talking nicer to ourselves, or even, I heard that a little bit of your investigating, asking yourself, why do I want to do that? What am I going to get out
Hmm.
of that? What of that? So I love that. So you have a little bit of curiosity with yourself, kind of talking to yourself, asking from, questions of curiosity as well as framing things a little bit nicer for yourself. I like that. That's a great takeaway. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Thanks.
you. I want a couple of more. So again, she dropped a lot of information. What I want to hear from a couple of you is what really landed the plane? What did you take away? What was a huge aha moment for you? But I will call on you. Who watched the call? Stacy, Carter. What landed for you?
Hello, beautiful lady.
Hello.
It always goes back to the honesty piece for me.
Mm,
Always. I'm like, lying to ourselves keeps us in that cycle.
yeah.
And I've been doing this now for 4 years. And I always have to go back and go, what is that really? Should I really be doing that?
Mm,
What is it? I really love being in my skin. And I remember the feeling of hating how I felt in my skin. I hated how I felt naked and short. I just hated it. And so, they say, or I've heard Nicole say, our girls never go back.
Mhm.
Well, before Nicole was you, and I was with you, and I never went back, and I won't go back. And I'm with Coach Jen now, and she's helping me get my bikini body for the summer, and I'm getting ready to put on that bikini, and I'm ready. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm being honest with myself, and I'll share with the group. I've never went to a restaurant, ate my own food. It was very uncomfortable for me, and I know a lot of us do that, and a lot of people that succeed do that. And I know you and I have talked about that. And it wasn't really planned, but I already had my prepped meal in the car, and we went hiking, and there was a lodge, and my husband wanted a beer, and I was like, okay. So I got my meal from the car after the hike, watched him drink 2 beers and eat fish and chips, and I had my prepped meal. And it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for him and embarrassing, I think, because he just hadn't seen that. And it's like he'll get used to it. I'll get used to it. But I'm proud that I did that. But it's because I was being honest with my goal and what I wanted to do. Right. And how would I feel? Just kind of like what was being said a minute ago, and talk yourself through it. How are you going to feel if you have fish and chips and drink 2 beers? You going to feel like that's going to help me get into my bikini in a couple weeks? It's like, yeah. And it smelled so good when they brought it to the table. It's like, and I'm eating my kale and my strawberries and my pumpkin seeds and my chicken. And, but I feel great though. I feel great about it, but it always goes back to being honest, and not just being honest with me, being honest with my coach. And that's what our coaches do. They call us out and go, are we being honest here? They may not say it that way, but that's what they're doing. And we know that. So anytime that I have a little debate going on or a question, I just go back to the honesty thing, and then there's no question anymore.
Yeah. I love that. So,
Yeah.
really just being honest with what I hear you say, Stacey, is you're really being honest with where you're at with your journey, because as you said, you've been here for a while, you've maintained, you've never gone back. But what I hear you saying is, I got a few more goals to go here. I want to look a specific way right now for the summer, which can happen. And it might even be just a little bit of a shift of a movement. But in order to get that way, you know that you have to behave a certain way. And just being honest with you about yourself, meaning I can have the fish and chips, I can have the beer. There's nothing wrong with that. I can do these things. However, if I do these things, this thing that I want, this execution that I want may not happen. Correct? Is that what I'm saying? Like that bikini is not going to come the way that I'd like it to.
Well, right. So like, I lost 20 pounds, and then I gained a couple back. But the thing that I'm finding is, if I want my abs to look a certain way, my nutrition has to be dialed.
Yeah.
Like dialed. I eat on repeat. I love to eat on repeat. I never would have thought in a million years, but I know that I feel good with it. I'm comfortable with it. If I don't like the food I'm eating, I'm like, okay, hey, we need to look for a swap for this, because I'm not wanting to eat it, and that's a problem because I can't dial in my nutrition. But if I dial in my nutrition, then my stomach looks the way I want it to look in a bathing suit. And maybe that might not mean anything to anybody else, but it does to me.
Right.
And the funny thing is for me too, like 3 pounds, I feel I have more energy without an extra 3 pounds on me. I don't know why. It makes such a huge deal. And I'm like, if I want to reach that goal, because I shared pictures, and I'm pretty sure Jen probably shared them with you. And I was like, what will it take to get me to that? And she's like, okay, here's the new meal plan. I was like, got it. Yeah. But I have to be dialed in. And so now I'm getting where I'm taking my food with me everywhere. I just take it, because I used to negotiate it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I still have a little bit of time. And I'm like, oh man, that went over by an hour and a half. And now here I am 5 hours and I haven't eaten, and I'm dying for something. I'm like, right. So it all goes in line. It's
Yeah.
it's all connected. There's no way out of it unless you want to be okay with that extra fluffiness. If you're okay with that, that's fine. But I'm like, you know what? I got this.
Mhm.
I got it.
And what you're saying, so again, I'm going to take this back to I love the piece where you're saying you're honest. And what she's saying, guys, is like she's just being honest with where she is right now in her journey. And again, there's nothing wrong with an extra 3 pounds, but she just nailed it in what she said. And that's where I was trying to get you to go, Stacy, is there's a specific look you're going for. You want to see ripped abs in a swimsuit. Well, I'm no different than you. If I want to see ripped abs, I have to dial in my nutrition too. We all do. Like when the closer you guys we'll get to our goals, the more level of consistency it requires to get us over that page. So it becomes about being honest with yourself and even myself saying, well, you can go have the sushi tonight. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to change anything. But if I really want to look a specific way in a bikini this summer, I too have to do the same thing over and over and over again. So does Coach Amber, so does Coach Jen, anybody that has to. So being honest with yourself with where you are in the journey. I love that. And that doesn't mean that you're never going to eat the thing or you're always going to be dragging your food into restaurants, but where are you right now with your goals and what is it going to take to execute is what I heard. And I love that.
Yeah.
And you're always going to have different parts of the journeys, guys. There's always going to be different ebbs and flows. I love that. Give me another one. What's another big takeaway from that call that landed for you, that felt good, that was interesting, that maybe you were like, oh, I'm going to call on you. Or I'm going to assume all of you guys.
Okay, I got one.
What is it, Brenda? Give it to me.
Mine was the part where about being more coachable, and after you give us the feedback, to think about it instead of doing that yeah but thing, yeah but to really stop and think about what you're telling us in your feedback. I'm in this to be coached. I'm not in this to be resistant, so you need to open up and really listen to what your coach is saying, because they're trying to get you to dig deeper and to, okay, why did you do that? Or rather than being resistant and thinking, oh God, I got to come up with this excuse and this excuse, just listen and then take the feedback and think about it. And it's okay to say, got your feedback, thumbs up, let me think on it.
Yeah.
That's what I took away from that, is that, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that is okay, that I don't have to have an answer for you right away of, oh God, she's
Yeah.
gonna come down on me because I did this, So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I took away, is to
That.
think about what it is you're really trying to tell us, and to be coachable, to be here, to be now.
Yeah, I like that. To receive versus
Yes.
react. And I
Yeah.
kind of like what you added on there because I never thought about that. Sometimes you may feel like, holy shit, I need to react, respond right now. But no, you just need to acknowledge to us that you received it. And then, you got it and you want to sit with this a little bit because there's a big difference between hearing it and really hearing what's being said. And that is true. A lot of times it can be uncomfortable. I can't tell you how many times I've had a coach tell me something that was uncomfortable and I didn't really want to hear it, but I had to sit with it and receive it. And after I sat with it and I received it, I was like, yeah, he's got a point there.
Mhm.
And it doesn't always feel good. Specifically in the moment, it can feel very uncomfortable. But then I think, and I want to that's kind of where I want to go next, like, and ask you guys, like, did you implement some of this week? Because Nicole talked about a few things last week. She talked about honesty, exceptions, and executions, which is kind of what you just led me into, Brenda. And, she talked about, the feedback and how it hit and like how you like and how to receive it. So did anybody do anything different with feedback from their coaches this week or feel a little different? And like, were you a little, because we already talked about this. Somebody just talked about honesty, you know?
Yeah,
That
I
would,
did. Yeah, I did. I started to this week go to bed a little bit earlier because I've been feeling tired. So I'm like, okay, that's part of it, not getting enough sleep. Um, Started weighing again rather than eyeballing because
mm,
I was eyeballing instead of weighing. And so Monday I was in it and on it. So yeah, I did listen this time. This time.
good. But that's about being honesty and accepting it. How many of you guys eyeball your food? Oh, be honest right now. Yeah. Eyeballing our food and then wondering why we have inconsistent results can be a really big thing. So there's no judgment in there, but that's a really good point. And here's the thing, a lot of times we know when something isn't right. So we'll give feedback and coach, I'm not sure why this isn't changing. And the math isn't mathing here. The math just isn't mathing because the math will always math for us, guys. The math will always math. And so the eyeballing thing, and this kind of goes back to Stacy being honest with herself. It can come up in a lot of ways, but if you're eyeballing things, and that's not to say that that is incorrect. Eyeballing your food is part of intuitive eating. Eyeballing your food is great. And a lot of times, you'll get to a place where you start to eyeball your food because you've been weighing and tracking your food so long, you know how to do that, and you maintain your weight. You maintain your physique. That's exactly what we want you to do. But a lot of you are still in the what phase. And then, so when you hear from us, like when the math isn't mathing, we know that there's something else happening. So so this is a really good point, and it's kind of like off the point, but if you're eyeballing your food, if you're going out to eat, so Stacy talked about going to a restaurant. Could she went out to the restaurant and could she have eaten either off of the menu food that was specific to her nutrition plan? Could she have had the fish and chips? Could she have even, like I said, manipulated her food? She could have, but she would have been eyeballing it. And I'm here to tell you, nobody's going to eyeball things perfectly. And so when we eyeball stuff, we're probably eating more or less than what we know. And those things add up. And then the scale starts to do this. It plateaus, it doesn't move because we basically are eating out of our calorie deficit. We're eating in maintenance. Now, here's the good news to that. We have taught you a skill set. You're never going back. That's the proof in the pudding. And a lot of times I'll say that to you guys. I'm like, awesome job maintaining your weight. Awesome job. You're in a place where once we get you to where you want to be, you're never going back. But that's a really good way to check yourself. If you're doing this, and I love Brenda brought it up, check yourself. Be honest with yourself, like Stacy said. Am I really doing all of these things? It's not right or wrong, but every single one of us that was on a journey, Nicole, Amber, Coach, Jen, myself, we tracked everything for a very long period of time before we started intuitive eating. And when I intuitive eat, I'm baseline. I might even go up a little bit. I'll soften up. I might not have those lines. So, like Stacy talked about, if I want to have lines this summer, even if I'm not going to stand on stage, I got to tighten up my nutrition. I have to be really honest with myself and be like, girlfriend, if that's what you want, tighten your shit up. I have to have those conversations with myself. That doesn't mean I don't look good and feel good in my own skin right now. It's just the reality of what do I want? Makes sense, guys. So very good. And that's with the eating out too. Every time you guys eat out, even if you're eating on your mail, your like you looking at your MyFitnessPal and you're eating according to whatever is there. It's fine, but I promise you, you're eating 2 to 500 calories. I'm going to say probably in the middle of that, depending, over what you think you're eating because you're guessing, unless you have a scale in your purse, how much that food weighs. And then there's the hidden oils that I don't care what you say. Any restaurant is going to have hidden oils and seasonings in there that are going to increase things. When was the last time you weighed? And here's a good exercise for you because it'll floor you. You have 4 ounces of protein, chicken, I don't care what it is, 5 ounces, whatever it is, weigh it. Weigh it the next time. And the next time you weigh it, I want you to like go right down to the ounce. I want you to see how much food can actually throw you off by an ounce. Yeah, I see you shaking your head here. Yeah. It's surprising, isn't it? And then, like, even fats, like nuts, almonds, things like that. Fat is worse because fat has, it's not worse, but it is not, you got to remember, guys, fat has 9 calories per gram, where carbs and protein only have 4. So if you have just a little bit more fat, I'm not telling you one almond's going to kill you, but you have a few more of those. Like weigh them and then look at MyFitnessPal just for the fuck of it and type in like, okay, I had an extra ounce of walnuts. Weigh what that extra ounce looks like and then look at it in MyFitnessPal. Somebody to me today just asked me a question. They're like, well, I think she's on this call. She might even say it. She said to me, I've been having a sugar-free chocolate popsicle every single night every single night. So I've been eating all of my nutrition and I've been having this. I haven't missed a meal. I've been 100%. I'm really good. And then every single night I've had this sugar-free chocolate popsicle. And she literally said to me, and it's X amount of calories per week. And I said, well, so I think it was like 120. And then she was having something else every single day that was like 40 calories. So now we're up to almost 200 calories. And she said, can that plateau my weight? I said, sure. You just took yourself out of your deficit. 200 extra calories every single day, 7 days in a week. Seems small. But if we have you in a calorie deficit and not a severe calorie, because a calorie deficit is anywhere from 250 to 500 calories less than what your maintenance is. So does 200 calories a day affect your weight loss? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it, guys, but these are the devils in the details. This is what Stacy is talking about when she said getting honest with herself. So, like, you guys are like leading, like, I know this is what she was saying. I have to be honest with myself. We all do about these things. So, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, kudos. You know how to maintain, but then if you're wondering why we're plateaued. So like all those little things matter. Does that mean you're never going to do those things? So I said, well, how about we do this? How about we take that popsicle from one a night to, let's not say we're never going to have it, but let's go down to maybe once a week or twice a week. I'll barter with you. Or better yet, let's get chocolate Greek yogurt instead of vanilla Greek yogurt and let's satisfy because that's like existent. And because, the conversation I had with her today on her check-in was I can account for that chocolate popsicle. I can help you account for it, but those are empty calories. They're going to be basically carbohydrates, even though it's sugar-free, right? And it has absolutely no nutritional value. So now we're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. But Peter and Paul aren't the same people. Does that make sense, guys? It's not a bad thing. It's not something that you can't do every once in a while. And sure, I can fit it into or you could fit it into your macros, but to fit it into your macros, now you got to take away something that's got more, like Patty was talking about, nutritional value. The reason why Stacy says those 3 pounds are different, I didn't say this to her, but the 3 pounds, it's probably not the 3 pounds. It's the foods that she's putting into her body. not saying she was eating the sugar-free chocolate, but you see what I'm saying? Like what she's doing is she's tightening up her nutrition. So it's not the 3 pounds that she lost that has her giving more energy. It's what she's putting in, not what she's taking away. Did that just land, Stacy?
The quality. It's all about the
Yeah.
quality. I mean, it's like you can't trade this off and have a beer and okay, that's 250 calories. I'll just take it off of here. I mean, that's like Weight Watchers, right? That's what they teach you. You can have the beer and the cereal and all the junk, as long as you only eat those points, you're fine.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. How do you feel?
Right. And that's what I meant. Like, so it's not necessarily the 3 pounds that was giving you the more energy. It was the quality of the food.
Yeah, and the timing of the food, the quality of the food. I mean, it's just it all goes together. But the quality, I heard that on a call and I was like, that's why when I stick to that meal plan, I mean, there's nothing bad in there for me. There's abs that's the level 1 bars I had to give up. I got so addicted on them.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I do like my one refeed meal a week, and I've had to live without that for a while. And so I'm like,
But it's even that,
yeah.
it's even that, guys. It's again, it goes back to quality. You ever know, what we call them refeed meals? That's something that came from me, guys, because I don't like the word treat meal or cheat meal. Like, I just don't like that name. Why do I not like that name? It implies that what you eat on a day-to-day basis, which is whole quality foods, is a punishment. And it's not. It's not. You're fueling your body. Patty talked about it earlier. She wants to live a long quality life. She's having conversations with herself because that's what a diet is. Stacy just called it out. A diet is Weight Watchers. If it fits in your macro, awesome. But if you want a quality, which every single one of you are here, you want a banging body, but that banging body is going to be the byproduct of how you feel, how you are showing up for yourself. So I love this conversation.
I would like to add too, I think the body is also a product of our mind and how we have been able to overcome some things and also manage our emotions. And that's really been the struggle that I had with alcohol. When I first started with you, Jules, was I was drinking every single night. Now I didn't drink and get drunk every night, but I came home and there was a glass of wine on the island. And so I don't do that anymore. I quit doing that. I had to, but I was like, there's something bigger here that I need to deal with. And going back to your coach gave you feedback, sit with it. I had to sit with that and figure that out soberly, if that's the word. I just turned it into I don't know, an adverb. I had to do it without self-medicating and figure that out. So the byproduct of dealing with yourself and really becoming a better person overall. And people see it when they see you. I went to a conference the other day and there was a bunch of people there that I'd never met before. And one of the guys that was at my table, he was like, how much body fat are you? Are you blah, blah, blah? And he was like trying to guess. I was like, I have no idea, dude. I don't know. He was like, wow, you're really in good shape and da, 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 da. But because he was like outgoing and really talkative, but he wasn't like hitting on me or anything. He was just like, just making conversation. He was like, I work out too. And my wife does. We go to the gym together all the time. But, people see that about you. So, and we may not care what other people think. And I don't do it so people can tell me something like that, but they see it. It resonates when you walk into a room.
Yes. It's powerful.
And that's where that confidence, you feel good about that.
Sure
and
does.
you're like, you got your life together. Is it easy? No. Does it get easier? Yes. The debates with myself get easier when I'm like, let's go back to the simple. We can say kiss, right? Let's keep it simple, Stoopy. Go back to the simple thing and the honest. What is it that I'm trying to achieve right now?
Yeah.
Is that going to get me to that? Yeah. It's like having a coach in my head.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're nailing it. And hopefully, like as she speaks through this, guys, you're hearing what she's saying. That's really what she's saying through the honesty. And yeah, it's like having a coach in your head. But I also like what you said because it ties back into, again, Patty, pulling up you from the beginning. We all have this. Stacy isn't alone. She drank wine from a very stressful job that she had, and that was her release. Some of us eat a bag of popcorn. Some of us have chocolate chip cookies or a sleeve of Oreos. There's things that we did, but to identify and having the conversations, being honest with ourselves, having learning that this is a mindset. That's part of it. These are the habits that we talk about, guys, is learning these new habits. How do we manage stress? At one point in time, there was no thought for Stacy to think that she could manage the amount of stress that she had without that glass of wine, but she learned to replace that with something else. Like, what is it? And it's like it's nobody's fault. It's decades. It's decades. Like Patty says 67 years or however many years. Well, it's for all of us. We've all had decades of utilizing this as a crutch. So part of the process is learning to repeat that. And here's the reality. Sometimes I don't want to say we slip back into that because we say you girls never go back. You never go back. But the reason you never go back is because you create the habits and the values that catch yourself when you feel it starting to happen. Because I'm not going to tell you it's never going to, you're not going to have that trigger, but you feel it and you go, oop, course correct on that. Does that make sense? Yeah, I love this conversation. Who else had something that landed for them or got feedback this week from their coach and processed it a little different, received it a little different? I know a few of you did. You told me so. Now I'm going to call on somebody. Nicole. Yes, you.
Sorry, I have a loud dog in the background. Tried to go to a place that was quiet.
This way, we can't hear anything.
Good. I thought the conversation around, again, being coachable was really valuable. The whole make sure you're honest with your coach, with yourself. I think especially with yourself is really big. And you may get feedback from your coach. It's going to happen at some point that you don't like, but sit with it and try to understand why it didn't sit well. Because ultimately it's something that you need to uncover a little bit more about why you're doing the things that you're doing. And the coach is there to help you uncover that so that you can get past it. But unless you're ready to recognize it and receive it, it's still going to keep coming back.
I love that. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And it is, it's never easy, guys. And here's the thing. I think I said this on an awareness call last night with some new girls that were starting, and I let them know, like, we're going to shine that light into corners of the rooms that you're not looking at. But if you were looking in those corners, would you be here? Or would you have ever been here? If we didn't teach you to look into those corners, because I know I wouldn't have. If somebody didn't shine a light in the corners that I wasn't looking at in my life, I would have never seen them. And then being able to recognize and see them, like I keep picking on the people that have speaked up, but like, Stacy's and her wine on the counter, if I didn't shine that light in that corner and ask those hard questions, she would have never been where she is now.
And if you had told me from the beginning that you were going to take my wine away, I would have been like, nah. And you were like, you're going to do what I say, or we're not doing this. And I was like, I don't like you right now. But then 23 pounds later, and I met all my goals and I exceeded my goals. I was like, got it. Message received. But 6 months went by without a drink.
The honesty that she's not telling you is I didn't take it away forever. I took it away for a very short amount of time. And it's the point in time, so she's like casting me as the evil stepsister. But there was a time I said, go ahead, have your wine. I don't care. Have a glass of wine. She went, I don't want it. And that's the point, though. She
Yeah.
replaced what she used to release her stress with something else. So when I said, Mom, go ahead, have a glass of wine, enjoy yourself, but I don't want one. Oh, okay. Don't have one. But that's the thing is, that's the point when we realize, oh, damn, that was a crutch. That was something a tool that I utilized. And then when you do have the chance to, or when you do have it, now she enjoys the glass of wine occasionally. And I bet you anything, she really enjoys that shit. You really enjoy it because now it's like a moment that you want. But very good. Is anything else like you guys really talked about a lot here when we looked about like anything else stand out for you? Because we're all human.
I think what you just said about the crutch
Mhm.
is really true, because when you told me to go back and think about why I did what I did and what I did do that, it was because somebody pissed me off or put me down during that day. Early on, if it was in a call or if they were being sarcastic, which happened to me last week. My sister-in-law was really sarcastic with me, and I'm like, I wanted to go home so bad and eat chocolate. It was just like, it was everything I could to not open that bag and eat it. But it's like, no, I'm not gonna let her win. I'm gonna let it go. She didn't want to listen to the, because she was asking me about, questions, and I was trying to tell her what I was doing, and then when she found out, oh, you have to eat the same thing, oh, I can't do that, and then she's been all sarcastic with me. I was like, you know what, you go your own way. I'm staying on track. So yeah, I think the crutch part really hit me. That's what I was doing.
And it's
If I
very
felt
easy. Yeah.
if I felt bad, that's what I wanted.
A way to soothe. So
Mhm.
everything can be emotional. Food sometimes has been built into us to soothe us, to make us feel better, to reward us, to take the shit away from a hard day. And, I've said this to some of you guys on calls, like stop, drop, and roll. It's the power of the pause. It doesn't mean that you don't have the thing, but the power of the pause, guys, is so important. It's like it can even be there's the power of the pause, and it can even be like it's called a shift. Like you change. I'm like not somebody that is in coaching. It's like you shift, you change like your there's a word for it. It's going to come to me in
It's
a
a
minute.
cognitive shift.
Yeah, it's a cognitive, but you physically move your body. There's a shift. There's a word for it. It's called a blank something like
Change your state. Are
a
you talking about
state
changing your
change.
state?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
state change. So there's a
I was
state
like
change.
trying to go through it with you.
Thank
I
you.
was like, I know
So,
what it is.
so there's the power of the pause, which you can use that, but you can also do what's called, thank you, Stacy, a state change. And that also will help the pause. But what it does is it gives you time to think, because that old version of you, whether you want to call it the 1.0 version of you, your ego, whatever it is, that little voice, this is what happened with you, Brenda. It said, well, just go eat the chocolate. Fuck it. Just go eat the chocolate. It'll make you feel better. But if you pause and you say, what just happened? The power of the pause, and you say, what just fucking happened? Well, my sister-in-law said XYZ. What's the feeling behind the fact that just happened? The feeling is I'm pissed off. What do you want? Now you ask. Now the feeling is you're pissed off. What is it you want? I don't want to be pissed off. The feeling is I want to feel better. I want to feel better equates to chocolate. Do you see what's happening? You process this through your brain. You go, well, is the chocolate going to make me feel better? This gives you time to say. If the answer is yes, fucking have the chocolate. But I'm going to guarantee you half the time that the answer is going to be like, if you're really honest with yourself, if you're really honest with yourself, you're going to be like, well, the chocolate isn't going to make me feel better because I'm going to eat the chocolate. When I'm done eating the chocolate, I'm going to be now I'm going to be mad at myself. You go through that process. Trust me, guys, by the time you get through that process, the fucking chocolate's long gone. You haven't even thought about it anymore. If you still want it, open up MyFitnessPal, enter the fucking chocolate into MyFitnessPal, look what it does to your macros, and then make the decision. If the decision is still you're going to have it, have it. Now, you're being honest with yourself about it, you're owning it. But I guarantee you, if you go through that process, it's causing you to think of all those things. And a state change, sometimes that's all you need to do is lace up your tennis shoes and go for a walk. And you can just say, I'm just going to go for a 5-minute walk. That state change in itself will take you out of that pissed off mood, that sad mood, whatever it is, because it's changing your state of that energy that you're in right now. So thinking about that, but the pause is really important because it gives you a chance to identify the fact and the feeling. Many of you guys are on Zoom calls or you're in meetings. You walk out of a meeting and you just want whatever. I want to sit down on the TV and I want to have a bag of chips. I want to have a glass of wine. I want to have whatever that is. Like, and I know I'm not like these things come up, but then what's the fact? I just had a long day of work. What do you feel? I feel fucking exhausted. Oh, I'm tired. I want food. Well, is food going to help me not be tired? No. But you associate that because in the past, that's what you did. You sat on the couch, you watched television. I'm not saying this is what you do, but are you following me? All of these things added up. So your brain, that part of you, that identity, that's that container that I talk about in the beginning, it believes that that's what's going to relieve XYZ. But the reality is it's not. Just sit down on the couch. Go read a book, go take a bath. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, shit. It's not your fault, guys. It's just programming that has happened for a while. So it's about the reprogramming of all of this. And it comes with repetition. And it's not that it's not going to, I'm not going to tell you that I don't have a day where I feel tired and I'm like standing in front of the pantry. Even that happens to me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It's not going to help anything. Go take a bath. Go read a book. Go take a walk, whatever that might be. But it's the identifying it. Good stuff. Helpful. Anybody have anything to add to this? Any value they want to add to it? No? You're all so quiet.
I will say you are not the bad guy. I didn't mean it that way. I feel bad. But I was like, it's a shock to the system for people when they first come in because you're used to the comfort, you're used to those things. You get a coach and you're like, I'm paying money for this, and then they're making me uncomfortable, but there's a reason. But yeah, and I do remember conversations with you, Jules, that you were like, well, you can do that. You can do that. And then there were times where I was like, oh, I can have a this, I can have a that, but I didn't want it. I didn't want it so much. Now it's like occasions. Like we're going to go get dressed up and have a glass of champagne and sit out on a rooftop bar and have, something. Yeah, like there's things like that, right? It's worth it. Like, but sitting on the couch and just having 2 glasses of wine after work, I'm like, is that worth it to me? That's where you make those decisions. So, but yeah, you always basically gave me options and made me think about those things. So I just wanted to say that you're a great coach.
Thanks. But it's our job. But, you do bring up a valid point, and that's cool. It's like I say that all the time. As coaches, we're here to serve you. But our ultimate goal is to do what? Get you an outcome. To get you an outcome. That's our job. is to get you to an outcome. So unfortunately, as coaches, sometimes our jobs aren't all that fun because we have to say some things that we know are going to make you uncomfortable sometimes. But at the end of the day, we also want to get you to that outcome, so that you feel your best and you're living that life of your dreams. All right, guys. Well, I think this was a valuable call. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. I thank you all for showing up. I thank those of you that participated. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening or rest of your afternoon. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Jules.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.